A Japanese chatting, observing life from offline mode since 2009. That's deep, not motivational, just painfully accurate misalignment logs.
I don't go outside. This is my battlefield. Fighting alone every single day. No one sees it, but I keep going. Slow is fine. Stopping is fine. Just move forward. Hikikomori hero, still standing. This is just a podcast.
Today was very tough. I had to think about everything for my podcast, the title, the description, and the show note. I'm also working on the cover art, and I spent hours thinking about the title, but I felt like I was starting over from zero again. I also spent the whole afternoon worrying about my English broadcast. It was exhausting. In the early afternoon, I went up to the second floor to start working. For some reason, being on the first floor feels heavy and painful. So I always wanna go upstairs quickly. This feeling changed depending on the season. Though I don't know why it is colder on the second floor, and my legs hurt unless I sit in a specific way that feels like I'm doing abdominal exercise. Still, I feel more relaxed upstairs. I should about the reason, and it might be simple. In winter, going to the bathroom is cold, and the bathroom is downstairs. This made me realize that I worry more about future anxiety than the actual physical discomfort in front of me. I thought about animals next. For animals, having food in front of them in a matter of life or death, being told to wait before eating must be a huge stress for them. It is quite sad because it feels like a threat to their survival. Unlike humans, other animals probably don't worry about the distant future, but they feel the crisis of life in the moment. Humans don't feel a life or death crisis every day, but instead we have an overwhelming amount of anxiety about the future. I wonder which is better. I have started to think less about the future. I wonder which is better. I have started to think less about the future lately, perhaps because of aging. I can't calculate or plan as much as I used to. But as a result, some of my anxiety has disappeared. I also thought about literature today. There are many famous Japanese authors known worldwide, but Japanese literature doesn't seem as popular as Japanese anime. In fields like music or film, it is rare for Japanese people to win major awards like the Grammy or the Academy Award. Maybe Japanese people overrate their own authors, or maybe there is a language barrier. Since literature relies entirely on words, it might be harder for foreigners to truly understand, which keeps it confined within Japan. That is a bit ironic. I also heard about dog threading in Niseko. The dog look like they are working so hard, just like horse in horse racing. I once researched why race horses run so fast. Apparently, they run out of fear. They wanna be in the front so they don't get kicked by other horses. They aren't running because they want a carrot. They are just trying to escape the fear right in front of them. It's similar to how animals are kept in cages at zoo or cafe. Human ego often find excuse to justify these things. Speaking of perception, summer heat is usually painful, but people who go to saunas voluntarily doesn't seem to feel that pain as stress. If you think something is fun or positive, you don't feel uncomfortable. Even if the physical sensation is the same, your memory of it won't be negative. Regarding my podcast title, I struggled with whether to include the word Japan. I eventually did, but then I realized people might think the show is only about traveling to Japan. So I had to start over again. It's a mess, but I'm glad I noticed it. Modern tools for podcasting are amazing, but the spend of technology is almost scary. I wonder what it will be like in 10 years. Maybe broadcasting in English will be meaningless by then. But I am starting anyway. I also felt some guilt today. My parent used to be close with another couple, but they eventually stopped seeing each other. I feel like it might be my fault because I'm always at home. That family eventually fell apart and the couple got divorced. I feel a sense of guilt, even though things aren't that simple. Humans influence each other like rolling dice. It's meaningless to think I should have done that because life is too complex to fully understand. Still, the guilt remains. I also talked with my parents about my grandmother's pickled radish. I always wondered how she got such a great texture. She used to pickle 200 radishes by eye without any special tools, and they always taste great. It was amazing. Recently, when I think about my podcast, I got exhausted and listen to music like smokers taking a break. I'm so focused that I don't realize how tired I am until later. It is hard to know if what I'm doing is truly fun or just exhausting. Right now, choosing a title feels like a heavy burden. However, I've noticed that I can remember things better when I talked freely. It took a long time to get used to this. When I was a student, I was bad at remembering or recalling things. It was very stressful during test. If I had the skills I have now back then, I could have studied much more smoothly. Finally, I've been stuck in a loop of thinking about my podcast title. I even made a rule that I wouldn't change my clothes until I decide on name. I want a title that reflects my unique perspective. Someone who left a religion after many years and had spent a long time in special isolation. I want to show that unique point of view. It's a challenge to put all these complex feelings into a title, a description, and cover art, but I will keep trying. Also, my mouse touched the futon just now. Should I follow my usual routine? I was worrying about that. In the morning, I always properly wipe my mouth with a toothbrush and tissue. I remembered my student days. A guy in the same club also did club activities, but he probably just played games when he went home. When I was junior high student, was I studying? I probably studied at the cram school, but on other days, I probably didn't study. People at high schools with higher deviations scores probably studied every day. In high school, I rarely thought that I don't want to be with those guys. They probably passed the exam easily. I don't know for sure, but I was studying desperately. I hear many guys become desperate when the exam gets close. My parents are like that too. I hate people who passed easily. I didn't want to be with them. On the other hand, I don't think I would get along with the grind who only study either. About that dinner from the night before last, the leftover fried chicken was delicious, even after time passed. People usually have a preconception that food is more delicious when it is freshly made. Scientists might explain that it feels more delicious when hot. But I think that it's just a preconception. It is a troublesome common sense created by humans. Actually, some people say many things are delicious after time passed, or that cold food is better. But because of that preconception, people feel freshly made food is better. I have no such preconceptions. It might be easier to live if I had some, but I don't want to be swallowed by them. I hate that kind of life. I forgot what I wanted to say in the end. About Chinese food, the winter cabbage I got from an acquaintance and the pork were delicious. I think they use the Thai mian jiang, not dobajang. But yesterday I couldn't taste it at all. The cabbage was the same as usual. I wonder why broccoli in the morning becomes so delicious with just salt and pepper. It is a mystery. Last night dinner was small. It was pumpkin. The pumpkin this time is delicious and moist. Also cognac noodles with coleslaw and salmon. I thought I would die or hunger, but I survived. I started recording this morning. First, I will talk about the cover art, I spend many minutes thinking about it. I realized that changing the episode image every time might not mean much, but I decided to do it anyway. I'm doing that now, but I can't remember why I started doing it. Even if I try hard, I can't remember. I looked it up this morning. In America, people doing video podcasts change them. But 80%, 90% of people doing only audio podcasts do not and don't change them. I was surprised. I heard before that changing them was mainstream in America, but for an audio podcaster like me, they don't change them. That rarely happened. I'm thinking about whatever it is okay not to write that I'm Japanese even in the description. I thought I wouldn't complete there at first, but a single Asian person broadcasting in English will get lost. So maybe putting Japan as a sign is necessary. It is not that I worry about my identity, but I lose track of myself when I think about the program name. The story of being a recruit has universality. I can talk to people, and I wonder what I will do if I leave this house. Even before I became a recruit, I was at all place. I talk about many things like daily life, philosophy, and stories that are hard to understand. Putting all of that into a program name is very tough. I wanna tell a story from my student days. A senior in the same club was being mouthed by a junior. I wonder if the senior knew that. When he felt the club, he said to that junior, "I'm sorry for all the trouble I caused you." He must have had a bad time, and they both probably felt bad. I was thinking about that. There is a recluse guy in the neighborhood. I think the neighbors want him to leave the house quickly. I have been lucky that I don't understand people's feeling well. So I could go my own way. But I'm an HSP, so I understand people's feelings too much. Maybe I became insensitive because I understand too much. I might have both a very dull part and a very sensitive part. Sometimes I think about the neighbor's feeling and feel sad, but basically I can't afford to care. Back to the program name, Recruits Developmental Disorder or Family Program. I thought about putting family problems at the front and I feel some resistance. It is not just about that. I talk about it every day. And people overseas and Japan seem interested. Also, if I use religion, will people think it is just religion criticism, or is it about becoming a nihilist about after quitting religion, or my way of life after that? I don't know if anyone will listen. When a member of an idol group was not popular and went back home, I wonder what the parent would do. The person probably won't say they are real worries. Would the parent stay close to them or behave as usual? I thought about what I would do if I were a parent in a female idol group. There was a girl who was popular with other girls. The public should not leave her alone. But I wondered why they do. I was talking about this useless story with my parent. I was daydreaming about the senior telling me, if you quit the club now, you won't be motivated. You should wait until you are third year student to quit so you can really focus. It was like a dream. I daydream unconsciously. Unconsciously. I noticed later that it was an endless daydream. I can't stop it even though I want. In either group, cool type girls are popular with women, but cute type girls with droopy eyes are also popular. It is strange. Do people see them as completely different things? One is like a man, and the other is like a pet. It is strange because they are opposite. And the library in junior high school, it was said that I had returned a book even though I didn't borrow it. I wondered what I should have said. I might have been suspected. There was a guy who was reading that book, and he might have used my name to borrow it. I should have said that. About yesterday in the morning, my father asked, is it okay if I leave at 8:45? I said, wasn't it 9 on Fridays? He remembered then. When I said 9, it's fine. My mother said, is it okay to leave at 8:45? If they wanted to make it later, they should have done that before. There is a reason for the current way. But both of them have no memory. In the end, it was made later right there. There is move called Ghost in the Shell. I was thinking about making program name using that as a reference, and it happened in Yahoo News. I wasn't searching for it, so it is strange. Sometimes these strange things happen. It is just a coincidence, but it is strange. Thank you for your hard work. Please take care of the program.